What up, guys? I'm Jeremy Mathis, and I am a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
All right, let's do this. It's 3, 2, 1. It's time for ResultsLeader.fm. I am stoked that you guys are tuning in. If you're here live, welcome. I don't know you're here because I'm not paying attention. All I'm paying attention to is a guy that I have right in front of me. For the past 5 years, this dude's been investing in real estate, doing hundreds upon hundreds of deals with him and his brother. He's got millions of dollars in real estate rentals. And the thing that I think is most interesting is he's not resting on his laurels. He's not just doing real estate. He's also out there investing in businesses, which I find super duper interesting. Today, I have for you one half of the Mathis twins. Jeremy Mathis, what is up, my man?
What up, man? Thank you so much for having me on, bro. I really appreciate it. I love your show. I've been listening to it a lot lately, and it's really interesting. So hopefully I'm able to drop the gems that I've received from your show, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, what a gracious guy. He went and did his homework because he did not want to show up unprepared. I love that. I love it a lot. So, you ready to do this?
I'm ready. When you're born ready, you never got to get ready.
Never get sold. All right, here we go. So first one is, what book or books have you given most as a gift?
It's two right now. The Energy Bus is one of them. And the other one is The Go Giver. And one book that I'm going to start gifting a lot more is High Performance Habits. Those 3 books have been game changing for me, and I think they'll be game changer for other people as well.
Well, let's talk about that for a second there. You went old school on me and you said The Go Giver, old Bob Berg. Why The Go Giver?
Because I think we live in a society where we focus so much on taking as opposed to giving. And that book talks so much about the way you need to be in as far as your life and how you need to be giving and what giving can do for you. So just from that basic premise alone, I think it'll help a lot of people change their perspective on how they go about their lives.
Here is something that I think is super fun about this show is you get different perspective from different people. And so the Bob Berg book for me, I had the opposite feeling because I was giving too much and I didn't want to receive. I was on the other side of that. And so this is what I love about the show, man. So let's jump into every entrepreneur's favorite topic, failure. So tell me, how has an apparent failure set you up for later success?
I think one of the biggest failures that, and I may say we a lot because I do everything with my brother as far as business.
You tried to bring him on the interview too, and I'm like, yeah, I got to sell. You guys assign me, so what?
Usually people ask for that, but I'm happy to be doing this by myself. Finally, I get to do something alone, right? But one of the biggest failures that we've had that is setting us up for success because, I don't view myself as successful. I view success as something that's an ongoing process. You find new success every single day, right? So for me, one of the failures that we've had is not building out a team faster than we did, excuse me. We waited a long time to build out a team for our real estate investment company. And I wouldn't say we are behind the 8 ball, but we're somewhat behind the 8 ball in that, now as we get more opportunities, we're trying to grow a team to do other things that should have been done already. So right now, I think one of our biggest failures that is ultimately setting us up right now for the things that we're doing is building out a team.
Why did you put it off?
It's a number of reasons. Number one, it took forever for us to find the right people. That was one thing. Because at first, when we first started hiring people, it was that when we first started hiring people, we couldn't. It was very bad. Let me just say that, and that kind of scared us because we had a different company before we got started investing in real estate. It was a cleaning company, and every employee we had in that company, it was a nightmare dealing with them. And then once we sold that company, we started investing in real estate. It was like, you know what? Let's just do this thing as a 2-man show. And looking back 5 years from now, I think that was the worst decision that we made. But that you live and you learn, right?
How'd you figure it out? So you had this nightmare and you say, all right, we're doing this all over. We're going to go ahead and mule out to do DM talk. And then how do you figure out, oh, snap, maybe this isn't the best idea?
When you get to a point where, and one of the books that I'm going to start gifting is High Performance Habits, right? And one of the high performance habits, that book talks about every habit that multiple successful people have. It's 5 habits that they have. And one of them is having clarity. The reason I figured out that I was muling it and doing the wrong thing was I got clear on what it is that I wanted from my life. And one of the things I did not want to do was continue to work like a slave, like I was doing when we didn't have a team. So at that point, I got very clear on this is not what I want to do. What I want to do is be able to build out a team and provide opportunities for others to enrich themselves through some of the decisions that I make. And from that point, it's when we started to grow up that team.
Yeah, man. All right. So let's talk about investments. You are a man of investment. You and your brother are not afraid to invest. And what I want to know is, what is the most worthwhile investment you've ever made?
The biggest investment that I've made is the investment in myself, right? One of the things that I've learned in my life is the biggest room in the world is room for improvement. And I constantly seek improvement in myself. I constantly seek feedback from others. So once we get off this interview, I'm going to ask you, what do you think I could have gotten better? But the best investment, going back to your question, is the investment that I made in myself, which was joining masterminds, reading books, doing things to help take myself to the next level. And I would say that's the best investment I've ever made, because once I started to do that, everything else started to get better. My ability to make decisions, my ability to effectively communicate to my team, all that has come from investing in myself and learning from others or learning from books that has helped me.
All right. So I want to, let's see where I want to go. I want to explore this idea of improving yourself just a little bit more. And so I don't know how you grew up. I know I heard some stories when you were talking to Nate at the retreat, but I grew up and I didn't have a lot of good influences around me. And so I'm not even sure how I found the right books to read. And so I'm curious, because I know you went to school and all that, so you might have had better influences. How did you find the right books, the right motivation to get you on the right path?
I think in today's society, it's super, super easy with social media. So you find the people that you emulate as far as what they've done in their life, who you look up to. I think everybody has somebody that they admire and that gives inspiration, or that they get inspiration from. So I found those people, and I started to look at what they were doing and what books they were reading. And every time they said, go read a book, I would either buy it, and if I didn't have the funds at that moment, I would put it in my notepad and make a reminder, I need to buy this book. So let's say, for an example, one of the people that I'm inspired a lot by is Elon Musk. So I'm going to go, he doesn't really have social media. He doesn't do a lot of that. But every time he's on a podcast, I'm listening on that podcast, and I'm listening to books that he talks about. I'm listening for different tips, and I'm implementing those tips in my life. And I'm reading those books that he says that that people should read. So just really seeking influence from others and listening to others that are where I want to eventually get to.
I want everybody to listen to what he just said. If you have to hit that little rewind button, hit it. He said, read the book. And then he said, take action, do work. Okay, people, you can't just read books and hope that things are going to happen. So the other thing that I find interesting is you and I met briefly at a mastermind, a very high level mastermind, top tier guys. And I wonder, how did you figure out? How did you figure out the mastermind thing? How did you figure out that you needed to get into these rooms with these people and invest that kind of dough?
It was really trial and error, trying to figure everything out by myself, right? And that was the wrong approach. I'm from an area where, you don't really ask for help. Anything you want to know, you can go and figure it out. And I truly believe that. But as you elevate in life and you get smarter in life, you start to understand that there is an easier way. So the easiest way to a certain point is 2 ways: either straight line or finding somebody who's already done it. And once I understood that concept, it's like, okay, who has done what I'm trying to get done? And I need to go find that person or those group of people and surround myself with them so that I can get to where I want to be at. So once I started to realize that, man, yeah, you can figure everything out, but figuring everything out yourself takes a lot more time and effort. I can make more money. I can't make more time. So now I stopped trading my time for money. And I started thinking, oh, how can I get things done faster, effective, and speed up this process? And I'm not comparing myself to anyone, but I'm focusing on what it is that I want to accomplish. So I have these goals, and I know that by surrounding myself with the right people, everything can get 10 times better than what it currently is. I know that was a lot, but yeah.
No, you gave everybody listening the secret to massive wealth. Buy time and buy the shortcut. Just buy it. And most people are afraid to do it. And I'm with you, bro. I spent a lot of years buying courses and reading books, and I wish I would have just invested in being around the right people. God bless you. You figured it out younger than me, and hopefully we inspire one or two people to do it even younger than us, and we keep making the world better. So I want you to think back. In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
I have to go back to just writing down your goals and looking at them every day. I know that is so cliche, but I was one of those guys where every time I heard it, it's like, come on, bro. Like, everybody says that. I'm telling you, whoever's listening to this, everybody says that for a reason. They get it. And I literally just started to get that last year. I was one of those people where I thought I knew what I wanted, which is no way you can say what you want if you don't have it written down somewhere. Because that if you don't have it written down somewhere, it constantly changes based off the mood or what kind of day you're having. But if you have it written down, regardless of the day you're having, whether it's a good or bad day, you know, okay, I'm doing this because of this, or this is what I'm trying to achieve. So that was one of the things that I picked up within the last 5 years, literally not less than a year ago. And I've done $1 million in transactions in real estate. I have a multi-million-dollar rental portfolio. And by having my goals written down and looking at them every single day has really started to transform my life and take me to the next level as to where I want to get.
Beautiful, man. What are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
Bad recommendations. I try not to look at anything as a bad recommendation, to be honest. I try to look at it as that's his opinion or that's her opinion. And if I take their opinion and I use that, that's on me. That's a decision that I made. I think in the society, we focus too much on what other people are doing or what other people tell us. But you are the one that have complete control of your world, the world that you live in. So I really don't look at anything as a bad recommendation because I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, right? So that's how I would answer that question. I know everybody answers it differently, but that's how I would answer it.
We got a little positivity vibe going in here. All right. Most people have fun with that, but I'll take it. I'll take the positive vibes.
But seriously though, like every recommendation somebody's given us is because that's their opinion. And I think if we start looking at it as that's their opinion, I don't have to go with that. Then we live in a better world. We're in a different space because a lot of times if you tell me to go do something and I go do it and it doesn't work out, I instantly label you as, oh, you don't know what you're doing. And now your opinion to me, I don't value it as much. But if I look at it as, you know what, that worked for him at some point, it didn't work for me. And I made that conscious decision to go out and do it. That's on me, not on you.
Ultimate accountability there. We
Exactly.
teach our son that all the time. Well, you made the decision to sit on the potty for an extra 5 minutes. No Nintendo for you. That's on you. Oh, man. Yeah, we're about to get into the fun part of the interview where we talk about results. But first, I have to ask you, what questions do you have? What thoughts do you have? What are your big takeaways from this episode? Drop them on social media. Share the show. Use hashtag ResultsLeaderFM, and I'll be out there looking for your comments, looking for your questions, looking for your encouragement. Now let's get back into the show. So now let's move into what this show is all about. We are about results. So, Jeremy, why do results matter?
Results matter because results get you to where you want to be at in life. If you've clearly defined that at the beginning. If you haven't clearly defined that, then you don't know where you're going. So if you say that by the end of this year, I want to acquire $1 million worth of real estate, you know that's the result that I need. And the only way to get to a result is by planning that up front. If you don't hit that goal, you don't have a result, right? And if you don't have a result, then what happens to your life? It's the same. You're back at where you started at. So if you don't have that clearly defined, then you're not in a good space. You're not in not in a good space, but you're back at where you started. I know that was me rambling on, but that's how I would answer that question as far as why results matter.
So I want to take this one a level deeper here. How on earth did you know what you wanted when you weren't writing things down?
That's a great question. I would allow other people to define that for me. Subconsciously though, not even consciously. It would be, I see this person acquire 50 units in a year. I want to go acquire 50 units in a year without even thinking about, is that really what I want? Or is that because I see that I view this person as being successful and I want to follow their path? I think a lot of times we allow other people to blaze the trail for us that we have no business following. So for me, I was always in a reactionary mode as opposed to being proactive.
Powerful. Yeah. Living with intention. That's what you're doing now. Living with intention. So let's think back again. In the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients, for your team, for the people around you?
If you don't have people that are going to challenge you every single day, you're losing life. You're losing at life. You need people that are going to call you out on your BS. You need people to tell you, bro, you're playing so small. You need people that are going to let you know that, bro, you have more in you. You're only operating at 40% capacity, which is the same thing as playing small. But you need those people that are going to keep it real with you. One of the things that helped me realize, man, we made a big mistake by not hiring sooner. My acquisitions guy in our real estate investing company challenges me every single day. And it's supposed to be vice versa, you would think, but he's challenged me every day to think about how I'm looking at our business, to think about how I'm looking at our metrics. And all that has done is elevated us as a team. And from that, it's elevating the company, and we in turn make more money. So if you're not challenging yourself or have people around you that's challenging you, you're going to forever live in your comfort zone.
All right. So most people would think if their team was challenging them, it would be insubordination. So how is it that you take that outlook that, no, that's pushing me to grow? I want to hear a little bit more about that mindset.
I heard, and this, I can't attribute this to something that I've come up with, but I heard this on a podcast that I listened to with Inky Johnson, the motivational speaker. And he talks about locating your ego, right? I think everything's about ego. And for me personally, ego means easing God out. And if you're concerned about being challenged, I think you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, what is it really? And it really boils down to your ego. Get your ego out of the way and do what's in the best interest of the organization. And the only way you can really do that is if you have people that are committed to the common goal. So within our organization, we have a common goal. If the organization makes money, everybody makes money. And if everybody's following that goal, you shouldn't have any problem with being challenged. That's the culture that we've created. A culture of not the best person wins, the best idea wins, regardless of who it comes from.
Now you touched on something interesting, and I'm thinking back to your bad experiences hiring, and I imagine that this new concept of culture wasn't there when you had all those bad hires, was it?
Nope, it wasn't. But again, you get around the right people that challenge you. Not only will they challenge you, but they'll teach you things that they've learned. So that's why you make that investment in yourself to get around the right people, because you talk to them about some of your struggles or you hear some of their success and you realize, oh man, I can do the same thing. So that's why it's important that you invest in yourself. That's why it's important that you have people that are going to challenge you. Why? Because again, it sets the bar high, and it keeps everybody going in the right direction. If it's done effectively in the right way, obviously it needs to be done respectfully.
Yeah, with a good heart. So let's talk about your business. What area of your business would you like better results?
In every area. I think every day you need to be looking at how can everything get better. I think once you start to live in a place of complacency, that's when you start to die slowly, without whether you know it or not. If you're not waking up every single day trying to say, how can I get better in every aspect of my life? How can my business become better? Because there's somebody else out there that's competing, that's trying to get to where you are, that's trying to get past you. So I think every aspect of our business, I would like it to be better, because I don't believe there is no such thing as perfect. But I do believe in the pursuit of excellence. And if you're pursuing excellence, that means every single day you're trying to figure out, how do I get better? How do I make this better?
Forever challenging yourself, man. So what results are you most proud of?
Of who I've become within the last year. I say that because last year was when I did a deep look at myself in the mirror, and I asked myself, are you proud of you? And I wasn't proud of the person that I was. So I put a lot of work and effort into that, and into developing my mindset, into developing how I talk to people, how I communicated, what my expectations were of myself. And I really committed to that. And I'm super, super excited about the future that I've created, all because of the work that I actually put in, because it was work, from going to therapy, from reading books, to really writing out my goals and looking at my goals every day and understanding what's important to me. And because of that, I can say that I'm a better person. So I'm very happy with the work that I put in myself as far as personally. So I'm
going to point something out for you real quick. You dropped a "we" really early in this program. And now that I've put that out there, we'll get your brother on the show. But anything you want to say in closing as we're coming to the end of the interview?
What I would like to say in closing is focus on the result that you want to get, but don't focus on who you choose to get the result that you want, as long as the outcome is exactly what you want it to be. And I said that because of the name of the podcast and what you focus on. I think so often we focus on who is doing the how to get to the certain point. We should be focusing on not how they're doing it, but focusing on who is going to do that, and just outlining, this is the result, this is the goal that I want to accomplish, and I'll go and get it done.
Yeah, man. Who, not how. Dan Sullivan. I talk about Dan Sullivan all the time. 5 years in strategic coach. Love the concept of who, not how, and we struggle with it every single day. We love to do work. So where can our listeners catch up with you? I know it's at Mathis Twins on Instagram. Where else can they find you?
That's the best place for right now. Right now we are building out more so our personal brand. But the best place for right now is on Instagram at Mathis Twins.
All right, man. I want to thank you for taking the time out to rap with me. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing with us. I appreciate you, brother. And everybody listening, go to at Mathis Twins on IG, follow these guys, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
That is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.